Very warm greetings to all my dear students. I welcome you back in another series of video, and today we will discuss the concept of rural development. What do you mean by rural development? Let us understand the meaning of rural development, and then we will discuss what are the different aspects we are going to deal with under this chapter. This is one of the important challenges in front of our economy, and during the recent time when you must have got a news that there is slowdown in the economic growth because of GDP has declined because of non-productions of goods and services. Only one sector is leading, that is farming, and which is not affected at all from any kind of recession. So this is very important in order to feed, in order to provide food materials to all the people of our country. The focus on development of rural areas must be there. So before going to discuss other aspect related with rural development, let us understand the meaning of rural development. Rural development is a continuous and comprehensive socio-economic process trying to improve all the aspects of rural life. In other words, rural development is a comprehensive term which essentially focuses on action for the development of area which is lagging behind in the overall development of village economy. Rural development covers agricultural development as well as all those aspects which improve the living conditions of people in rural areas. It is again a comprehensive process that targets betterment in all aspects of rural areas. Thus, developing agriculture implies the improvement of rural area. Then, after having a discussion on the concept of rural development, now it becomes very important how the development of rural area will take place. And the most important challenge that comes in front of the rural people is the arrangement of credit. So let us understand what do we mean by credit, specifically when we are dealing with rural areas. So it is termed as rural credit. Rural credit refers to the credit for the farming due to involvement of long time period and uneven distribution of land. Credit becomes the lifeline of Indian agriculture. Okay, so there are different sources and of rural credit, but before going to discuss that, what are the challenges that arise in rural development? The challenges can be summarized as development of human resource through literacy, education and skill development, productive resources to be provided for each locality, development of infrastructures like electricity, irrigation, credit, marketing, transport facilities, including construction of village roads and feeder roads to nearby highways, to improve rural and urban area connectivity, special measures for alleviation of poverty to be applied for the improvement in the living conditions of the weaker section. All these issues need investment and time. So these are the challenges when we are talking about rural development. So we understood the concept of rural credit. Now, how the rural credit is classified. The credit need of the farmers can be classified in two categories. Basically, they need credit for two basic categories. First, according to time, people need credit according to time period. This is of the following type: short-term credit need, where loan given for 6 to 15 months to buy seeds, tools, fertilizers, etc. Medium-term credit needs, under this loan period ranges between 15 months to 5 years to buy machinery and equipment, etc. Long-term credit needs, under this loan period ranges between 5 to 20 years for buying assets like tractors, land, heavy machines, etc. And when we are going to classify the rural credit on the basis of purpose, rural people require credit to meet the purpose of their needs. First, productive purpose. This loan is granted to increase agricultural productions, for instance, to buy commodities related to increasing agricultural productions, seeds, fertilizers, machines, etc. Non-productive purposes. Under this, a loan is provided to meet social obligations and not for agriculture productions. For instance, to meet expenses related to religious ceremonies, death, marriages, medical emergencies, etc. So these are the credit needs specifically for some purposes. Apart from the agriculture income, which is sufficient for their consumptions, they require credit for different purposes that we had discussed here. Now, what are the sources of rural credit? There are two sources. First is non-institutional sources and second is institutional sources. Non-institutional sources plays a very important role for rural credit because most of the people are getting their credit needs fulfilled from non-institutional sources only. Now, what are the non-institutional sources of credit? It includes taking loans from moneylenders, relatives, sahukars, traders, landlords, friends, etc. When we take loan from moneylenders, relatives, traders, landlords, friends, etc., it is non-institutional sources of credit. The drawback of such loan includes paying an extremely high rate of interest. Means, under non-institutional sources of credit, the people have to pay a very high rate of interest on credit and exploitations by the creditors. Means, the term and conditions of the creditors normally take more than whatever they have required to pay. Now, talking about the institutional sources of credit, and there are various sources, but it is not available to all the populations in rural areas. There are certain conditions, there are certain provisions of collaterals, there are certain rules and regulations that banks need to follow before providing loans to the people residing in the rural areas. Means, before providing loans, the institutional sources checks whether a person has two things in their mind or not. First, intention to pay and ability to pay. So, what are the different sources that is available for credit, institutional sources for rural areas? It includes banks, commercial banks, regional rural banks, cooperatives, etc. The advantage of institutional sources of credit for rural people include paying a low rate of interest. It is very important. Paying a low rate of interest The institutional sources charges low rate of interest, and at the same time they get proper time to repay their loans. So there are certain sources, there are certain institutional sources which we will discuss now. The first is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development was set up in 1982. NABARD is an apex body to coordinate the activities of all institutions involved in the rural financing system. And another very important, apart from regional rural banks, cooperative credit societies. Cooperative credit societies was established in 1904. They play a very important role in shifting the role of the informal sector to the formal sector in the provision of rural credit. The other functions of cooperative credit societies include providing credit to the farmers at a reasonable rate of interest. They contribute nearly 30% of the rural credit. These societies resulted in liberating the farmers from the exploitation of moneylenders. They ensured providing credit facilities to all over the country. They also ensure a timely and continuous flow of credit to rural areas. So these are the important functions that cooperative credit societies performs in order to fulfill the credit needs of the rural people. Now, after rural credit, it is a need of our hour that how the producers, the farmers gets better market for their product. It is the process. Agriculture marketing plays a very important role now in order to provide market to the producers. And what it is a process that includes assembling, storage, processing, transportation, packaging, grading, and distribution of different agricultural commodities across the country. It is a system which includes assembling of the product, storage of the product, processing, transportation, packaging, grading, and distribution of different agricultural commodities across the country. In other words, it includes the services involved in moving the agriculture products from farm to the ultimate consumers. A good marketing system is essential to mobilize the surplus agriculture products to feed urban population and industries. So agriculture marketing plays a very important role in order to create a supply chain so that the producers gets better market and the people residing in the urban areas, those who do not produce any kind of products, they also get the food grains available to them. They also get agriculture product available to them. So agriculture marketing is one of the very important requirement for rural development. If the agriculture has been properly marketed, processed, assembling, storage, everything has been taken care of, then only the income of the farmers can improve. Otherwise, it will become very difficult because most of the fruits and vegetables are the perishable items and they cannot sustain for more than 1 or 2 days. Now, what are the aspects that rural credit focuses on? What are the potential of rural marketing? It covers large population, increased income, new employment opportunity can be generated through rural marketing. The financial institutions will get more improvement, saturated urban markets and improved infrastructure facilities will be there when we are talking about the potential of rural marketing. Now, what are the defects of agriculture marketing that we observe today? In India, there is a lack of storage facilities, lack of effective transportation in rural areas. Many rural areas are not properly connected with roads. Lack of marketing information in farmers. Farmers are not known where the markets are available, what are the rates available for them, their products. Lack of adequate finance. Inadequate communications is also one of the important defects that is seen in agriculture marketing. What are the measures taken for agriculture marketing though? Various measures has been taken by the government like regulated market, cooperative agricultural marketing societies, minimum support price has been given by the government for the agriculture products. Subsidized transport facilities are also available. Now there is one train dedicated only to carry the perissables items, fruit, vegetables, etc. only. Public distribution system is there, and standardization and grading of products are also created. What are the agricultural diversification? Diversification refers to the shift from crop farming to other areas of productions for employment. It raises the level of income and reduces the heavy rise. Finding livelihood away from crop farming becomes more important when it is realized that crop farming sector is overburdened. So, diversification refers to shift from crop farming to other areas of productions of the employment. When we are focusing more on agriculture productions, you will find hidden unemployment, disguised unemployment. But when you divert agriculture productions to other productions activities, that is non-farming activities, then population can get better utilization of their abilities. Okay, so when a person migrated or when a person shifted from their traditional, that is agriculture, to other non-farming activities, their income also increases, and at the same time large number of employment can be generated. Now, diversification has got two aspects. Diversification of crop productions. Diversification of crop production means changing the cropping pattern. It relates to change in methods of cropping from subsistence farming to commercial farming, means productions for self-consumption to production for sale. It means producing a diverse variety of crops rather than one single crop, that is shifting from single cropping pattern to multiple cropping pattern. Another is diversification of production activities. Diversification of production activities means shifting from agriculture to other allied activities, as the agriculture sector is overburdened. Many people are employed in agriculture sector. A major proportions of the increasing land force need to find alternate employment opportunities in other non-farm sectors. The diversification of production activity on the other non-farm areas of employment includes animal husbandry, fisheries, horticulture, other alternate livelihood options. Now, after discussing the rural credit, needs for rural credit, agriculture marketing, and diversification of agriculture activities, another very important terms and very important topic and very important point of our concern today is sustainable development and organic farming. What do you mean by sustainable development? Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the parents. Present the sustainable development is development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable development means taking care of production activities by caring about our future generation. Okay. And when we are talking about organic farming or organic agriculture, it can be defined as an integrated farming system that strives for sustainability, the enhancement of soil fertility, and biological diversity, while with rare exceptions prohibiting synthetic pesticides, antibiotics, synthetic fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, genetically modified organism, and growth hormones. Means simply when we talk about organic farming, in a very simple manner we can understand the concept of organic farming as farming without pesticide, farming without antibiotics, farming by depending upon the natural process of farming. So what are the benefits of organic farming? It is eco-friendly system of production. It is less expensive method because of use of traditional techniques of farming. Increase the level of income. It provides healthier and tastier foods. The quality and taste of food retains through organic farming. It provides more employment opportunities as it is labor expensive. So when we're talking about organic farming, it provides more employment opportunities as it is labor intensive. That is all for today. And from Rural Development chapter, thank you and have a nice